the Pathfinder School, taking your wilderness self-reliance to the next level by training individuals, families, and groups in ancestral, frontier, and modern survival skills to keep you alive when the chips are down. Come visit us soon at thepathfinderschoolllc.com to sign up for a class today.
Afternoon, guys. Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School. What I wanted to do today was I wanted to go over a few things that I have questions about by both email and private messages on YouTube. I have a lot of people asking me about the equipment list or the recommended gear list that you need to bring to a basic survival class here at the Pathfinder School. The reason we put that basic gear list out is for you to have the most enjoyable experience you can have at the Pathfinder School, and that so we can show you the multiple uses and the reasons behind the gear list that we chose. Does it mean you have to have the exacting items that we recommend? No, it does not. But you need to have a comparable facsimile of that item. So what I wanted to do was I kind of wanted to walk through the gear list with you, and it's not very big, but I wanted to kind of explain to you the reasons behind the choices I make when I talk about that gear. The first one that we talk about is that you need to bring a cutting tool, and obviously we're going to walk right down the 10 C's of survivability with this list with a couple added things in there. Cutting tools doesn't have to be a $300 Pathfinder knife. I recommend that you buy a decent knife. It could be a $20 Mora, but you're not going to be able to do some of the things with this Mora that you can do with, let's say, this $40 Condor. Because this Condor has a full tang, I would not be afraid to just beat the crap out of this thing. It wouldn't bother me a bit. It's got a good sharp spine on it, so right out of the box, it's going to throw good sparks off a ferro rod. Do I have to have those two things in a knife? No, I don't. But we're going to talk about those things at the Pathfinder School in a basic survival class. And if you can do those things and demonstrate those things with your tools, you're better off. Now, I can take this $20 Mora knife, grind the back of it off so it's good and sharp, and it will work. I can baton it and hopefully not break it. Buy two of them. If you break one of them, you still have one. Two is one, one is none. So your cutting tool doesn't have to be necessarily the best in the world. It just needs to fit the bill. It needs to be a good full tang knife with a sharp spine on it that you're not afraid to beat on. And we have a lot of broken knives at the Pathfinder School. You know, I'm not going to sit here and name specific brand names, but some of the most popular knives on the market today that are fairly cheap break fairly often. That's all I'm going to say about that. A good saw, a good multi-tool, those are always going to be a bonus for you. If you bring a decent axe or hatchet with you, that's going to help you out as well at the Pathfinder School during the basic class to process firewood, make shelters, and things like that. Flint and steel. We want you to bring a flint and steel kit with you of some sort so that you can use it with char cloth to make fires, because we're going to discuss that, we're going to demonstrate that, and we're going to have deliverables on you being able to do that. So it doesn't have to be a real expensive one. Any old steel will work. If you take a file and just grind the edge off of it, any old file will probably work for you. Just snap it over a stump, grind the edge off of it, get yourself a hard rock like a piece of quartz or flint. As long as it will throw sparks, that's all you care about. That'll work, okay? We also recommend that you bring a magnifying glass with you. You can use one like the one that's in this Hudson Bay tobacco tin that we saw on our website. It works just fine. It needs to be at least 5 power. You can store your flint and steel kit inside this and your charred material if you want to. That's not a problem either. Or you can just bring a Fresnel lens from Walmart that costs $1. It doesn't matter. As long as it's 5 times magnification, it's going to do what we're going to demonstrate and have you demonstrate at the Pathfinder School as we go. Ferrocerium rod. We always want you to bring a ferro rod with you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Pathfinder model ferro rod. It can be any ferro rod that will throw sparks is good enough. Remember that most ferro rods that have handles on them, the handles come off. Sooner or later, if you start working that ferro rod hard enough, the handle's going to come off. So just be prepared for that. But any old ferro rod will do. Most of them are made pretty much out of the same things. The other thing I would make sure that you have with you is a couple lighters. You're not going to use it a lot, but you might need it. The next thing we recommend that you bring or want you to bring is quadruple aught steel wool. You can buy it by the pack at most hardware stores. It's pretty cheap, probably $5 or less for enough to last you for a long, long time, way more than you're going to need in the Pathfinder School. If you're bringing a buddy with you, you guys can split a pack in half. It's not a big deal. We're going to show you how to start fires in about 10 to 15 different ways over the course of the 3-day school here at the Pathfinder School. So you're going to have these items with you so that you can demonstrate that you understand that technique and you can repeat it. It's all about repeatability and reproducibility. Can you repeat it the way I did it, and can you reproduce it over and over again? That's what's important for you to understand in learning at the Pathfinder School. It's all, show, see, do type stuff. I want to demonstrate it for you. I want to talk you through it and make sure you understand it, and then I want to see you do it so I know you own that skill. A water bottle and cup. Does it have to be a particular one like a Pathfinder? No, it doesn't. It can be any good stainless steel water bottle, even an old piece of junk that's dented up like this one will work, and some kind of a stainless steel cup that fits over the top of it. The reason that's important is so you can make char cloth inside of it. That's why you need to have that cup. If you don't have that, you're going to have a hard time making char cloth without finding something to plug the hole of that water bottle with. Do I want it to be a 32-ounce bottle? Yes, I do. Does it have to be a 32-ounce bottle? No, it doesn't. As long as you got something to cover it up with. But you'll find that this combination will work the best for you. We recommend some type of tarp or drop cloth. Now, for me, I'd say go ahead and spend the money, buy an SOL sport utility blanket so that you'll know the capabilities of that blanket. Does it have to be this? No, it doesn't. Any reusable space blanket will work. Any tarp will work. Any drop cloth will work. We'll make it function for you during the 5-minute fire, 5-minute shelter exercises and the 15-minute fire shelter boil exercises. But this is going to be the best. A grabber space blanket will be the second best. 2 55-gallon drum liners. Pretty simple. You can buy a box at any hardware store, Lowe's, Menards, places like that sell them, but they're good 3 mil thick drum liners. You're going to use them over and over again for different tasks during the basic class. Wool blankets. Do they have to be 100% wool? No, they don't. They can be 70-30. They need to be queen size, so if all you can find is a twin, get 2. That way you can put them together. But you're going to use those for thermal regulation, especially in cold weather, like basic survival classes in the wintertime. Paracord. Get 100 feet of good military-grade 7-strand paracord. You're going to want that for building, for bow drills, for making shelters, things like that. And then bring, at least 100 feet of bank line, if not more, to a basic class. If you can buy a whole roll, that's even better. Bank line's a little hard to find on the cheap. You can find it. Mason's line is not the same as tarred bank line. This is one of the things that I tell you, you're not going to be able to go out and buy this at a dollar store, find this on the cheap. You're going to have to buy this stuff off the web. You don't have to buy it from my website. You can buy it other places too. Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's sometimes carry it. Walmart, if you live in a good hillbilly town, sometimes has it. But when you smell it, it should smell like tar. That's what you want. Get number 36, get the heavy duty stuff. You're going to use it a lot at the Pathfinder School. A headlamp. You want a decent headlamp that's got replaceable batteries in it. We'll talk about the pros and cons of headlights when you come, but you're going to use that headlight a lot, including a night navigation exercise. And we don't do night navigation exercises to say, hey, you should travel at night. Because if you can travel at night comfortably at the Pathfinder School, where the dangers are few, then you'll be able to travel very easily during the day anywhere that you get lost. That's the reason for the night exercises. 2 cotton bandanas. I don't have one here to show you. Cotton material will work. You need at least, 2 36 by 36, 24 by 24 pieces of 100% cotton material. You're going to use them to make char cloth with. Bring them with you when you come. You'll also use them to strain your water with and filter your water of debris and grit. A compass. Compass doesn't have to be, this $150 compass. It can be a $25 silver compass as long as it has a movable bezel ring and a mirror. That's the only stipulations you need to worry about. It doesn't have to have adjustable declination. It doesn't have to be the most expensive compass in the world. This one's about 25 bucks. It works just fine. A lot of guys use these on my nav courses and they work out just fine for them. Would I trust my life to this thing? No way. We'll talk about that at the basic class, but for sake of the class, this will work for you. 2 rolls of duct tape. I recommend Gorilla Tape. I recommend you get 2 full rolls. If you bring inferior duct tape or a different brand of duct tape, it will still work for you. Not as well as this, but it will work. So bring what you can afford, and then you'll understand after the class what you need to replace as you can afford it. A repair needle. Any heavy gauge needle will work for that. We'll talk about that more in the class as well. But get yourself a heavy duty needle, even if you have to go to Joann Fabric or someplace and find the heaviest needle you can find with a wedge on the front of it. A 10-liter dry bag, 5-liter will work. I've got one here with a Pathfinder logo on it. Does it have to be that one? No. This is a C-line bag. It'll work just as well. Any good waterproof bag that you can find that'll hold your gear, is watertight, is going to work. But the thicker walled it is and the heavier material it's made out of, the better it's going to do things for you in the long run at other Pathfinder classes, like stone boiling in a dry bag. The journal and the field guides, pretty much just so you have something to take notes on, and pretty much the field guides will just help you understand while we're walking around, if we do a wild edibles exercise, depending on the season. When we do exercises on useful trees of the eastern woodlands, you'll have a reference you can look at and say, okay, there it is in my book, that's how I remember it. Mark the page and go back to it. So field guides are optional. A journal is always a good thing to have. Cameras, video equipment, you're welcome to bring with you. What I want you to understand is, don't not come to a basic class because you think you don't have the right equipment. Get what you can get that meets these criteria as best it can, and we'll work with you when you get here. We'll work with anybody who wants to come to a class. We'll do whatever it takes to get you trained, and we'll even loan you equipment if you don't have it, if we have to. But we want you to get used to using the equipment you have, and also the basic class is a good place to test the gear that you have, to understand, is this the best thing for me, or should I have something else? And we'll talk about all of those things during the basic class, but I wanted to walk you through the basic equipment list so people would understand what to bring and what not to bring, and also, what I'm expecting you to have. This is a very small bunch of equipment right here on this table, and there's a couple extra pieces on here. The only thing that's not on here pretty much is the cotton bandana. Most of this would fit into a 10-liter dry bag. So it's not this great big huge load of equipment that you have to bring, and you don't have to break the bank doing it. You could probably buy all the equipment that you'd have to have for this class for well under $100, probably less than 50 if you were trying to squeeze it. And we'll get you by. Don't worry about that. The Pathfinder School is about teaching and learning together. It's not about nitpicking what gear you have or don't have. So don't let that dissuade you. I appreciate you joining me for this video. We're going to put this up on the Pathfinder School website as well for people who have questions about what to bring to a basic class. I'll post this on my website as well and on my Facebook page, as well as on YouTube. So I appreciate you joining me for this video. I appreciate everything you do for me, for my school, for my family. I hope that you'll join us for a basic class soon. I thank you for everything you do. I'm Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School, and I'll be back real soon. Thank you.